All right. Well, Talk of the Town has been this Hollow Knight Silksong game. It's an indie game that looks like a pretty good Nintendo Switch type of game. And I'm an opinionated person, so people may not like these opinions because I'm gonna give it a little roasting, the rare side of the coin of how, hype culture in gaming surrounds itself. And, sometimes something becomes propped up higher than it should be because of fandom, because of just the way, internet hype goes and latest and what I call latest and greatest gaming. So this game, it came out a long time ago. There was a Hollow Knight game that was quite popular, and everybody wanted a sequel. And it took them forever to make the sequel, and it probably paid off for them because they built up this kind of, like a fandom, so to speak, and like a mythos around this Hollow Knight game. Now I've seen this game in action. I know what it's like. I know what these games are like. They're $5.99 Switch games on sale. Sure, they're not bad. The artistic style, I really liked one called Creepy Tales. Very great art style, same kind of thing as this. Games like Limbo, they're games, but they're not like full games. You know what I mean? They're not like games that are completely entirely full. In my opinion, they're like a platformer. Like on par with a SNES game, I would say. So this game has came out, this Hollow Knight game, and sure, art style looks good. I've seen lots of gameplay, looks pretty, pretty fluid, and everything looks nice, but it's just not a game that is like, I what I really my favorite types of games, which are like open world fantasy, huge adventure, amazing graphics, kind of takes you to another world. This is more of like an artsy type, indie type game. So it's for me, it's not gonna ever massively hold my attention. And I would imagine now let's look at the Steam DB because it's been pretty successful on Steam. This, I wouldn't imagine this game has hundreds of hours of gameplay besides people who are like into like speed running and playing the same game over and over again. So it's got about a million players they estimate, or a million sold. So we'll see what that envelops into. Very successful for an indie studio. But for me, I would say this is not the greatest game ever made, which is what a lot of people are building up to. Um, for me, very good little like just indie game, on sale for Switch, perfect. Perfect if you're bored type game for that type of thing. Not something that I would ever imagine sinking countless hours into. The art style is a little cartoonish for my tastes, that kind of thing. So, like, be aware of internet hype. Is my code is that lots of people have hyped this up. It's a certain type of gamer. This is your very casual player. This is hefty casual territory. People who play a couple hours of video games per week. It's not made for people who just love to just completely envelop their life in gaming. This is a girl game. I can see this is a game that women who are very occasional game players play. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like a terrible game. It doesn't look the art style works. It looks like something you'd see on Newgrounds in the early 2010s. It's on that par of game. But the internet has hyped it into this like massive, it's the best game ever, and they're gonna be like, it's game of the year, and shit like that. So just be aware that that's the way it is. All right. Oops. All right. Now let's look at the Steam DB because you'll see what I mean about this. quote unquote, like hype culture of gaming. Look at what people are saying. I'm sure it's a good game, but you see things like this game should be a roguelike with way more replay. I mean, there are negatives. 15 hours, 20 hours, 5 hours, 5 hours in peak gaming. The game is beautiful. Let's read some negatives. The game is beautiful and our smooth combat dragged to all hell by features that made the game worse in every way than Hollow Knight. Game is good, but honestly, I have a lot more complaints than I was hoping I would have. So rosaries or capitalism. So what is this? Double damage just to take the game unfun to play. They made Hollow Knight good. Silksong, so there is huge amounts of people who just would just say it's the best game ever just because of that internet kind of hype type thing towards it. They want a game to be excited about. And they don't play a lot of video games, so they just like, oh, this is the latest thing. Everybody's talking about Hollow Knight, so let's play it. This is the best game ever. We actually got Silksong before GTA 6, and that's the kind of hype that I'm talking about. Is there's this certain level of ridiculous internet culture surrounding this game that kind of props it up way better than it should be. It's just not my type of game, and it's okay to think that way sometimes. To be like, hey, I'm sure it's a fine game. I'm sure it plays well. I'm sure it's good for people, but it's not like this is not groundbreaking territory. There's probably a million games like this on the Switch store. Maybe not of this level of quality, but still, there's a million types of games like this on a fucking Switch store. You could probably get for $5. Creepy Tales 1 and 2 is another one. Check that out right now. Those are excellent games. Same thing, crazy art style, completely different. But for me, it's just insane. You watch and you're just like, how do people like this game so much? I've seen the gameplay, bro. Like I got eyes, I can see it. There's nothing in this that's gonna like suddenly just the visuals. Sure, I'm sure the visuals are great. Tons of games with great art style out there. Why is there so many negatives you're seeing? I was really excited for this. Blah, 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 blah. And then you get one like this that's just sha. It's like a weird anime furry profile picture troon. This game has some I keep calling it online troon overtones. It's got kind of troony overtones. Like this is kind of like a furry person's game, This is the type of person say, "Oh, you know, Counter Strike sucks. This game is the best." Like that kind of bias towards gaming these people have occasionally. It's kind of funny, really. Main menu theme simulator. There are negatives. There are people saying negative. 30 hours and saying it's bad. If you like Hollow Knight and the longer run backs, I think the game totes itself on kind of like a difficulty, a platformer type thing. Those types of games never attracted me at all. But there you go. The world needs Silksong. It doesn't look like a bad game. I'm not saying at all that it's bad. What I'm saying is that this is a game that is for a certain type of person, a very casual, toted audience. This is heavy casual territory. Um, and yeah, it's just to me like the hype around it is completely ridiculous. And let people be excited. If you're liking this game, go ahead. It doesn't look like a bad game. Be excited about something. Enjoy something. But for me, this is just like if people in my comments telling me, you have to play it. Dude, it's a platformer. There's nothing in this that is going to be completely different. It's got Metroidvania-ness to it. I'm sure it's fine. to me, this doesn't look like something that would be overly fun to play, to be honest. And that's just the way it goes with games. I'm sure I play games like Total Warhammer. The other people are like, "How could you play it? It's so complicated." And it's like, I don't like RTSs. This is the kind of thing that exists in gaming. Is people have preferences. Some people don't want to play a game, and of course, some people oops, how is that? 539,000. And I'm interested too in how this performs because this doesn't look like a game that holds a huge amount of time for someone. Like, this is not going to be 70-hour experience. I'd highly fucking doubt it. In fact, let's look it up. How long to beat Silk Song? How long is 11 hours? 11 hours. Like that's like the main quest of Skyrim. Well, you could do Skyrim's main quest quite pretty quickly, but you're not even gonna get a fraction of the experience out of Skyrim in that amount of time. I've got at least 600 hours in Hollow Knight. How? To finish normal story in Hollow Knight Silksong, players will take around 50 to 60 hours. This might drop down to 45. This one says to achieve 100% completion on Silksong, finish in under 30 hours. So like there's lots of coping going there. Most players have taken around 27 hours. So like they're already telling themselves being like, "Oh, it'll be like 40 or 50 hours." Oh wait, no, maybe it's under 30. It's 27 hours, like I said, this is not a game that is going to have you're not going to be able to invest your life and spend World of Warcraft hours into this. It just is that type of game. You know that there's just a little fraction of a world that you get to experience in this. But it might be big. There might be lots you could do. There's probably lots you can do in Silksong, I would imagine. But, not all the reviews are positive. Is it overwhelmingly negative? I mean, overload is very positive. Only 93%. Very interesting. From what you've seen so far with numbers and players, that was at 100% positive when I looked at it yesterday. 100% positive. You know that there are people who are just given automatically positive because it's that kind of game. Very interesting, isn't it? Craft powerful tools. Vanquish legendary bosses. It's interesting. It really is. And it just shows you how internet hype culture kind of goes along with that, doesn't it? Very, very interesting. So we'll see. I'm expecting what this goes is that people get hyped for it. People have gotten it. Tons of people will flood to play it. And then by next week, it'll start to go because everybody's beating it. There's not really much more in the game to do. And you'll see this just crater. Now it might have a little bit of a hold, but we'll see. But to me, these are games that are just like they're for a super casual, plays a couple hours on the weekend between taking care of their kids type gamer, and plays it for a couple weekends and that's it. This is the main attractor of this game. Oh yeah, so it dipped down to 400,000 the other night, 300,000. On the weekend will spike. We'll see this. We'll see how this changes because yeah, this is a very specific game that will not have a hold the same way a game like a modded game, Skyrim-ish, like that just allows people to do all these things. This is a very specific experience. It's a 2D platformer. That's it. That's all there is to it. But yeah, it's interesting how new games like this come out and they become this major hype focus, and it's like all you can hear about talking about. Like a game I play is like Total War Warhammer is like 10, 11 out of 10 game for me. I love it. It's one of the best games ever made. Skyrim, same thing. You don't hear about these games in the mainstream media because it's on to the next new thing. They go, people play it, and it's fucking over with. You know what I mean? So that's what Silksong is into me, in my opinion. Is it's a hype game. There's tons of games like this out there, and for whatever reason, this is just a very popular franchise because of, I don't know, because it's something that people have grown attached to or something. And that hype builds other people to buy it. A lot of people bought this game. Tons of people bought this game this way. They just looked on their phones. They saw Silksong coming out. Blah blah blah. Oh my God! Look at it. It looks like the best thing ever. And they're just like, okay, so I guess this is the new game now. We all play. It's like there's a huge amount of people that have a game like that. As crazy as it is, because you know, gamers like me, and there's lots of other gamers who are just like lifer gamers, just envelop their whole life in gaming. They'll just, I'll play whatever I want. I'll play a game from the 90s. I'll play a game from, early 2000s. Even when there's a brand new game out, I don't care. I play whatever interests me at that particular moment, and then I shift around. If there's a new game I like, I'll want to play it. Anything that interests me is a game I'll play. I won't just play a game just because that's what everyone else is playing. Because who gives a fuck? Realistically. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Silk Song. Doesn't look like a bad game, but not a game that necessarily interests me. I'm happy if people enjoy it, but there are going to be a ton of people who are playing this game that are like, "Oh my God, everybody says this is the greatest game," and they're like, "Oh, this is this game." Like that's sad but true. That's sad but true. Yeah. Some people just play whatever everyone else is playing, do following the crowd, regardless of quality or staying power. So yeah, that's my thoughts.